Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Chaos Theory live stream. We're just going to wait for a little bit for people to join the chat, but for anyone who is joining right now, my name is Megha. I'm the marketing assistant here at Chaos Theory Games. I'm joined with Nico and James. Guys, please introduce yourselves.
I am Nico. I'm one of the co-founders, and James is also a co-founder. And I handle a lot of the game design and kind of creative direction on our projects, and just generally passionate about how games can be used to solve real-world problems.
And I'm introducing myself for the third time as James, but I am our managing director and do a lot of project management work with the team to build all of the things that we build.
Nice.
Sweet.
We've got a first-time viewer in the chat. So hello to magic_cast. Hello. Thank you for joining. So for anyone new to Chaos Theory, we are a game development studio based in Sydney. And our last stream, which by the way is available on YouTube and Twitch as well if you want to watch it, was a World Oceans Day themed live stream. This one is going to be a little different, however. We're surrounding this stream on games that build empathy. So what do you think about that topic in general, games that can build empathy?
I think games have a unique ability to let us experience other stories from a first-person perspective. So when you play a game, you often refer to your experience of playing that game in the first person. Like, I walked down the street, or I sat on the couch. So I think there is a very powerful tool to let you sort of live somebody else's life, or experience what it's like to live somebody else's life, to live their life. And I think that a lot of the games that we're going to be playing tonight have somewhat dark themes, or themes that are complex. And yeah, games are a great way to let you see other people's perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that games being an interactive medium means that the player is making their own choices, for better or worse, and that makes maybe the impact of the outcomes in the game, if it's nice and engrossing, feel a lot more real, or their fault, or they caused it, which can help with again, following what you said, like fitting in with their living someone else's life, and being, walking in someone else's shoes.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I guess we all kind of agree that playing and possibly streaming games like this for people to watch and people to experience is also so important, trying to get them to understand or get them to live through these experiences, and hopefully help them potentially get a view of something that they wouldn't necessarily see for themselves in an otherwise setting, like potentially with movies and books as well. But games is also, as you were saying, more immersive probably than those mediums.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that they're good at tackling different sorts of problems as well. And with a lot of games for change, or these games with a good core purpose to them, often getting them in the hands of the right people is the real challenge. So I think it's great to explore what these games look like and how they work, and just promote the field of games for change, so more people are aware of it, and more people seek out cool, interesting games in that space.
Yeah, very true. We've got someone in the chat, Gurikpal107. Please, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of your handles, by the way. Who asked, where is Poliwhirl? Poliwhirl was Poliwhirl was only there for the World Oceans Day live stream. He might make a return in probably a future live stream. You're just gonna have to look out for him. Maybe we'll hide him somewhere in the corner, and we'll make it a game to who can spot Poliwhirl. And also thank you for joining again, because I remember you from last time. Also, I am keeping a better eye on chat this time, I promise. Also, as a bit of a disclaimer, some of the games that we're playing today, although so we haven't made any of these games. We're obviously playing these games that were made by some other amazing game developers and amazing game dev studios. And a lot of these games hit on some very extremely important issues. And although we personally haven't experienced things like marginalized racism, homelessness, being a refugee, and potentially not really having much as heavy difficulty with immigration, which is some of the topics we're going to be hitting on today. We're going to be approaching all of these topics in a strictly gameplay, game design point of view. Not that we have anything aside from that to really add to the conversation. But is there anything you guys want to add to that, just on what we're playing today?
No, I think that sort of relates to the earlier point around we definitely don't have these experiences, and I'm excited to jump in. I haven't played all these games, so excited to expand my knowledge and horizons and learn about these topics. And yeah, I obviously don't have a lot of experience with a lot of these things.
Yep. Also, to you guys, World Wildlife Fund Global is in the chat, so say hi to them.
Hey.
Hello, thank you for joining. All right, so as I said, this time I'm going to be keeping a much closer eye on chat, so feel free to ask questions or comments as we play these games. And also another thing, where to make this more accessible, and we did do this with our World Ocean Day stream, we are going to be posting a full transcript of the stream afterwards on our website. So keep an eye out on that. And that's just so that we can have full accessibility. And it'll also be up on YouTube, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the first game, guys.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Did you want to grab the keyboard and mouse?
Yeah, so we have decided beforehand who's going to be playing each game. So James is playing the first game. It is actually World Wildlife Fund. That is actually them. We're very close. We're best buds.
Cool.
Okay, yeah. So as you guys can see, the first game that we're playing is Papers, Please. It's a dystopian document thriller. It was designed by Lucas Pope. And developed by his company 3909 LLC. It was released in 2013. It is available to download on iOS or PC. So please obviously download it and play the game for yourselves. So yeah, so have you guys played this game before? Do you know anything about it?
I have played a few hours and probably failed miserably in my first attempt. So this is going to be interesting, but I have heard quite a lot about it since it came out almost 10 years ago now.
Yep.
And enjoyed my first grueling, punishing experience with the game probably a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also failed miserably at playing this game.
I think it's a game that you can win.
Yeah. There is no winning. There's just surviving.
There is just feeling.
It's definitely one of those games that gets talked about a lot in game design circles and is just held up as, I don't know, a unique game that is incredibly powerful and makes you really understand what it's like to be an immigration officer, which seems like an interesting theme for a game, or a weird theme for a game, but it does it really, really well. So excited to have a chat about it.
Yeah, I think one of the phrases bandied around, certainly in game development teams or studios, is the mechanics as metaphor, or using your game mechanics to help tell your story, or part of interacting with the game in the way that the developers have tried to do it is helping to build that empathy or feel the feelings that you might want to feel. And I think Papers, Please does a very good job of feeling that frustration or feeling of being trapped choosing between your morals and the authority that's overseeing you.
For sure. You want to jump in?
Yeah. So while we jump in, for anyone who hasn't played the game before or aren't really familiar with it, the game is set in the fictional country of Arstotzka. It's set in the year 1982, and you, as in you, the player, are an immigration officer, and you have to find a way to balance your morality and like feeding your family, and it gets very stressful very quickly. Another first-time viewer in the chat, Night Fury, who says big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have fans now. That's
Wow.
awesome.
That's wild. Do you want me to go ahead and read these out now?
What's the gist?
What's the gist? I don't know. Feeling a little bit, Eastern Bloc Europe, a little bit 1980s. Getting some kind of totalitarian communist vibes from this, but walk to work.
I believe it's set at the fall of some sort of wall in this fictional
sort of wall
country, or they've opened up the border, and it's your job to let people through and only let people through who are approved.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Read all of
read
the
out anything
rules.
that's key for us to pick up on.
So we're stamping people's passports or giving them an entry visa. And we're only allowing our Stotskan citizens in across the border, no foreigners. God, that sounds familiar. All right, and we've got to make sure that they've got the right nationality on their passport. And we have a few little things that we
controls.
can press down here. Ooh, we're opening in the news.
Cool. And you can just put that to the side. Yeah.
Put that one
Do you want to open the shutters? Top right. Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Nice.
Oh, I think you have to click the. Yep.
Open.
You got to tell them to come in. They're not gonna know.
Hey, that's the name of the game. Whoa.
Oh, it's right there. It's the name of the game.
It is the name of the game.
Ooh, Astotska. Nevin Griffiths. Looks a little bit different. What do you reckon?
I reckon it checks out.
Yeah?
Yeah, stamp them through.
Yeah.
James, have you ever worked as an immigration officer? You've already got the distinction down. Like, you don't really look like this.
Hold it nice and close. All right, where's my stamp?
Yeah,
Where's
I
my
think
stamp. Got to read the
middle
rules again.
Oh no, it's that arrow on the top right of that inspection booth thing. There's a little gray
right.
arrow.
Ah, yes, all of
Yep,
my
there you go.
controls.
Oh no, you stamped the wrong.
You stamp the instructions, but that's good first try.
The instructions are approved.
Yeah,
This
yep.
is going well.
You're
Right,
obviously
you can,
obviously a natural.
You can have your passport back.
We got Belle the bookworm in chat, who is as stressed as we are already, apparently, which is fair enough.
Oh, that's right. It's a real-time clock, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
hurry up, guys, get in. Oh my god.
Now it sets in.
Yep.
You don't have anything. You're rejected. What nationality is this from?
It's not the right color. You can just deny them.
Yeah, look. Where's the glorious eagle on the cover?
So the game's got quite simple mechanics for an otherwise seemingly complicated storyline. What do you feel about because it feels simple, but at the same time, like I think even people in the chat were saying it already feels stressful. What do you think about like game mechanics like that?
Look, you don't need to add too much more than a timer to start feeling very stressed about some things. Even while having to talk and deny people at the same time is stressful. Yeah, but I think that a very simple set of controls, but very well refined, helps not overcomplicate things unnecessarily. And even through very, very simple dialogue, it's incredible that the game is able to do such a good job of really making you feel as if you're a day in the life of through essentially 5 things to press.
So
boy.
simple game design, but somehow there's a deeper story happening in the background, and that's what makes the difference. you'd say.
And I think you wouldn't, because you are being timed and you are looking for fine details, like you don't want too much to be, day's cancelled. No, he just told me to piss off. He doesn't like this. You wouldn't want to get, too much more that you've got to pay attention to or distracting you from. Ooh.
I think in this particular game, a lot of the complexity comes in analyzing the information. So, like even though it's simple controls, we'll see as it progresses, the amount of information that you need to process becomes more and more onerous on the player, and then that's being balanced against the timer and your desire to move faster.
Yep.
So I think we're about to jump into the part where we talk about the family.
Yep.
So
right
if
now,
you sleep-
your wife and your son, and you're looking after 4 people, and you've made 10. It's not really dollars, but you've made 10.
10
10.
10 schmeckles.
10 paper bucks. Yeah. It's
also-
paper money. It's all fake.
Another first-time viewer in the chat, Elric Play, says that James is a bit quiet.
Ooh, all right. I'll get a little bit closer. Thank you, Elric Clay.
I think he also meant by how much you're speaking, not necessarily how quietly you're speaking.
Cool.
James is focusing on being a good immigration officer.
Yeah. Didn't you see that perfect score last time? No spies let over the border.
So yeah, with the family being introduced, and yeah, you're taking care of your, I think it's like wife, son, and
Mother-in-law
like,
and
mother-in-law
father-in-law.
and father-in-law.
Yep.
And like they all require a certain amount of like food and medicine to be kept alive. I think that's an additional pressure just to motivate you, and using a theme or a narrative to put more emphasis or more pressure on the player to perform, where you're really looking to optimize the amount of time that you've got. And I think that really plays into the gameplay being a lot more anxiety inducing.
Yep.
I think it humanizes it a bit more as well, because, you know, you're role playing as a real person in the same way that, you know, border control officers are real people, and they also have their own kind of objectives or desires to get out of doing the job well or not well, instead of just, you know, making sure that you're getting a perfect record or a high score. There's a bit of a something to look forward to at the end of the day. So day 2 in the office, we are now permitting foreigners over the border, and we can inspect people's passports for discrepancies. Ooh, inspect mode using the red button on your desk. Nice. And we can highlight pieces of information to make sure, or check if it's a discrepancy. Nice. All right. And we're back. We've got our controls. Shutters open. Come on in.
So Lucas Pope, the designer and developer of this game, said he was loosely inspired of his own times at the immigration line, as well as movies like Argo and the Bourne series and stuff like that, about how spies try to enter the country and things like that. So what do you think about making something that would otherwise seem like, because we've all been in immigration lines, I assume, and it is quite mundane, but taking something that is otherwise mundane and making it into a game that is quite engaging. What do you think that that system how do you think that happens?
I mean, if anybody had pitched this game to me before I played it or heard about it, I would have expired. I would have thought that it was a terrible idea.
Yep.
Like, I don't think too many people would have predicted that it would work as well as it has. And I think that, there are a few really just kind of weird, bizarre, unique games out there. I've definitely found, after playing this, every time I've been through immigration, I've had a new appreciation for everybody working there.
Yep.
Which is, I don't know, impressive that a simple game such as this, that I played, I think, once or twice, has left an impact on me, where I treat people differently in the real world, because I now empathize with them and have seen, like, the immigration officers. When, like, from our side, we just walk through immigration, we have one interaction with them, and it's like, oh, why are they so bossy, or why are they bossing me around? Versus playing this game, you're dealing with people every single day, and when people have an expired passport, you're angry because you're like, I've got to feed my family. like I can't believe that you do this to me. And the frustration is genuine. So, like, now when I go into an airport, I try and make their lives as easy as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of just a bit unique and interesting about this game.
You might recognize some archetypes of the people that approach you in the desk, and maybe the behaviors you've exhibited in the line when you've got I've been waiting in this for 8 hours. Hurry up, geez, do your job. What do we got? Antegria. It's not expired. She kind of looks like her Charlotte's. We're good.
Enough.
We're good.
So actually, one of the people in chat, Gorikbal, who says, as an immigrant, this game has some extra layers of anxiety. So that's something I can definitely relate to. Like, I'm an immigrant technically to Australia. So every single time I go through immigration, it's always just like, oh God, just like I've not signed something or I've not ticked something. And going through customs is always...
Got a little bit of extra passport information for this one.
Going through customs is always that
Keep that
extra
one for
level
later.
of anxiety. So I think the few times I've tried playing this game, I have not been able to get through it because it stresses me out. It's too much. It's way too real for me.
Yeah, it is crazy how anxiety inducing it is just in general as a game. Like, I think it's probably one of the most stressful games I've ever played.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is.
Oh,
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
oh boy.
oh
We've
God.
got a runner.
We've got to run
Oh
a.
no.
That wasn't someone I let through, was it?
Nah.
No,
They just jumped.
He
They
jumped.
jumped.
He jumped.
Oof.
Oh gosh.
Not looking good at the border to Greston. Oh, cut short. I needed my pay. I had another 3 people to admit. Oh, I'm down to $0.
You can't pay for it all. I think you've got to
No
choose.
heating.
Yep.
So either do we want food or heating?
I think food. Food probably.
That's important.
Yeah, food is
Yeah.
important.
Oh, but now everyone's going to be cold. More guards, more scrutiny.
You could have done better.
I could have done faster.
Yeah. No, if that person didn't have an expired passport,
Ah.
that's the problem.
All right. What do we got for today? Some more requirements. Regulated entry for non-citizens. They need an entry ticket as well as their passport. Still just have to stamp their passport, but have to make sure that their missing documents they're not missing any documents. And it links up with the rule book. Alrighty.
There are
Let's
some
see how we
people
go.
that the game is maybe slightly getting spoiled for them if they haven't played it before.
Spoiler warning for most of the games that we're going to be playing.
Should have also made that disclaimer. Spoiler.
Don't worry,
spoiler warning.
I am certain that we're not going to get too far, and that if you wanted to play this game, you'll enjoy it, and there'll be a full story waiting for you beyond the point of where we fail.
So another thing, the game's genre is listed as simulation history. What do you think? How do you think like taking something that's history inspired and setting it into the conventions of a game have on like real world impact?
I think that, yeah, the use of this historical setting, even though they've set it in a fictional world, it's definitely Eastern European, potentially Germany and Berlin. They're talking about a divided city. I think using that in your game is...
How do I ask her that she doesn't have a ticket?
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh no! Wait, I've got to go into the rules.
Yeah, you've got to open up your rule book, which is on your counter. Yeah, you got to open that up, and then you got to go to the rules.
Basic rules.
Here we go.
Where's your ticket? All right, we're good.
Now
We're good.
Back to
Oh my god. Oh my god. It better be valid. Your passport better be valid. Just take it. Take it and go. Put your entry ticket in the counter next time.
I think our downstairs neighbors are gonna have problems with James stomping and like sheer stress.
Ooh. Oh, we've got this again. Man, everyone's got these cards. Still valid.
So
valid.
back to the historical context. I think that the use of that historical context lets you do a lot of world building very quickly. So it can set the tone, set the theme, and you can draw on people's previous knowledge and experience of this event or this historical setting. It's a powerful tool. It's a way to get people into the world very quickly, but it also comes with the extra baggage of everybody's experiences and knowledge of those different topics are different. So you can't necessarily control what is being brought into this world and what people's views are going to be. So there tends to be a lot of research required and just making sure that you're picking the right setting and portraying it accurately in order to have that effect or that desired effect.
I think it helps, tell the story very quickly as well if you can, connect it to some historical precedent instead of having to build a whole world and justify why there might be border control and stuff in it. You can draw on people's lived experience or remembered experience.
Yeah, it definitely comes back to the idea of this game is really simple in terms of the mechanics.
Wait.
What?
He doesn't look like his photo.
Oh, it's close
I mean, it's-
enough.
Cut a bun, maybe.
He's got a bit of
August.
stubble too.
Let's check this. No correlation. Oh, time to
No,
hey,
you're good. You can close it in the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
and then reject them.
No.
No, I think
no.
it's fine.
Oh,
it said no
matching. Gotcha,
correlation.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Reject
No
it.
correlation between
Shall I
their
reject
face
them?
and their passport face.
Also, Greg Paul said in chat, anyone who likes the idea of mechanics having meaning he would heavily recommend Frostpunk, which I think Nico, you've also mentioned as a game that you like a lot.
Absolutely love it in terms of, again, quite a simple game, definitely more complex than this. I really like city building games, but there's just a lot of interesting moral dilemmas to explore, and I don't know, I like games where it makes you ponder whether or not you're the evil person, and it sets this sort of like greater good objective where you're trying to save as many people as possible, and it's, do I sacrifice a few people to save everybody, or does everybody like pass away? Just exploring interesting questions about our own morality and ethics. I think that this War of Mine as well is a good example of that, where it's a survival game where you play as a civilian in a war zone, and you basically just need to figure out how to survive and craft the things that you need to
James
survive.
is just
Give me your stuff. Stop talking.
Where is your passport?
Oh God, this guy.
You don't need this right now.
I really don't. Office is closing. Better let someone else in.
I think you brought up like a really interesting thing with Frostpunk as well, and I think it comes up in this game, maybe not right now, but it happens a little later. Again,
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Everyone, close your ears if you haven't played it. Is that after a certain point in the game, you start to get a lot of questions with like people coming into the immigration booth about morality, about them being like, no, I have to get into the country for this. It's just a couple of days off, and that's stuff that actually does happen in the immigration lines as well, where it's just like, oh, it's just this little bit, or it's that little bit. So, what do you think about like, you know, that kind of message being built into the game about like really testing your morality? James is just testing his patience at this point.
I mean, I definitely think that it is, I think uniquely something that games can explore, where it's less about a theoretical question of what would you do in this scenario, and it's more, you're torn between two options and you need to make a decision. And I've definitely found myself in those circumstances swinging wildly between those two different sort of moral ends, or different moral ideas or philosophies. And I think one of the reasons that I do that and explore those different options is to see what the consequences are, see how it makes like me feel and how I react to those scenarios. Games are definitely a safe space where we can explore those ideas, and we know that people aren't getting hurt, or maybe some digital people, but for now no people are being hurt. So I think it's a way to learn more about the world and learn more about ourselves, and I think that's really cool.
Fair enough. Also, while James goes through this last day, and then I think we might wrap up this game before he implodes.
With my perfect record. Yeah. Actually, no, I got a violation last time.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We're gonna have to cut you off.
I wanted to bring like some of the accolades that this game has won, just like because obviously it's a very good game, and it's very simple in what it does with its repetitive mechanics, but in that same way, like as if anyone can see how James's face has changed from the start of the stream to right now, it works. So this game won the most innovative Innovative Award at the Games for Change in 2014. It also won the BAFTA Game Awards for Strategy and Simulation and the Peabody Award for Digital and Interactive Storytelling. I believe there's also a short film that's out on YouTube right now that everyone can watch that's based on this game. It's about
We need
10
Papers,
minutes.
Please, the movie.
Yeah.
It's coming up next.
Yeah.
6 seasons in a movie.
Yeah. We're definitely rooting for that to happen. Now that we've sat here and played it, we need this movie to happen. We need that real life anxiety.
You heard us, Netflix.
I'm interested to see this YouTube short film
Yeah.
about Papers, Please, and I imagine there's somebody raging at people for not having their passport.
Yeah. I myself haven't watched this short film. I'm assuming
No,
you haven't watched it.
First time hearing about
Yeah.
it.
So yeah. You guys should definitely watch it. I've heard that it's quite good. It's quite a mirror of what this game actually does to somebody in terms of the stress and anxiety that you feel. So yeah, I think we're all gonna go and watch it after this now. But yes, I think.
Things have gotten complicated on day 3.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Oh
with
my
now?
God.
Certain towns.
now-
or
Citizens need to show their ID card, but non-citizens need a permit, which has to match up with their passport number, and the date. Enter by. Oh, you're in trouble. Oh, come on, that's wrong. What? Oh, enter by. Hold on. Yeah, that's what I thought.
hold on.
I was busy. Well, too bad, mate. We're all busy.
Yeah.
You gotta update your entry tickets.
I got my family to feed here.
This feels like the Australian passport office at the moment. The queue's probably a little bit longer than that.
So speaking of our theme, it's games that build empathy, and I know like a couple of the games that we're playing today have like this kind of bitter and bleak tone to it. What do you think that? How do you think that makes a difference when trying to build empathy rather than just having something that's super uplifting and inspiring instead? Or do you think there's like a balance that you have to find between those?
I think that it's probably a tool to be used in different scenarios. I think for this game, a sort of bleak and dark, depressing theme is probably, I guess, enhancing the experience of being an immigration officer, setting the tone of what sort of experience that you're going into. I imagine if this was a happy-go-lucky, like you're on an island paradise and you're letting people into the island paradise while like people are going home from a holiday or something, it really just wouldn't have the same impact. So I'd say definitely a tool like other game design tools where you can use it to set the mood, set the tone, and prepare people for the experience that they're about to be going into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a tough balance to achieve as well. A lot of, I guess empathy games as a category are not maybe necessarily meant to be fun in ways that other games or games focused on entertainment are. And I think that maybe limits, the kinds of mechanics that make sense. You're not looking to have sessions that might last for hours potentially, or really focused on getting the most value or most impact that you can out of maybe something that's not meant to last for 80 hours or that you're meant to play with all of your friends or in matches of 20 people.
Yeah, I definitely think that there are different forms of like fun, and I usually use engagement as a broader term to fun, because you can definitely have a game like this which is it fun? I'm not sure. Like it's stressful and anxiety inducing, and certainly an enjoyable experience where you go through the experience and you feel like, wow, this is something that I will remember and something that I value. But it's not exactly what most people would call fun or relaxation or recreation. It's definitely a game and it's certainly engaging.
Certainly stressful. I'm just hoping that I'm not going to get any more citations today.
Just send it. Just
I like just the
stab your way through
2-second delay. I mean, this totalitarian government is so all powerful and all seeing that they immediately know when I've made a mistake. So someone else is checking them after they get past this border.
Yeah.
So for anyone in the chat,
3 months.
if you've got any comments or questions or anything like that, what do you think about games like this that help people build empathy? I would be interested to know what the chat thinks as well.
Valid name. Oh, I'm stacking them up now. 5 credits. Oh, we've got
this
negative.
guy.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, he's back.
I
He's
think
got his
he
passport.
drew that
pre-approved.
on.
Approve it. Send him on his way.
The stamp doesn't even fit.
He's gonna come back with a better
Back
one.
with a real one. Man,
I mean, for
he's
sure.
gonna learn some Photoshop.
Yeah,
some 1980s.
He's
Photoshop.
eventually going to come back with like perfect documentation.
Oh, we actually have a Stotskan citizen.
Photos don't match.
Yeah, they
Yep.
certainly do not. Time for an interrogation.
The years have been cruel. Oh, fingerprint.
Oh, hit the fingerprint button. No known alias.
There's a name. Stefano?
Okay,
Is it the same name? Yeah.
it is. Oh man, I've got so much paper to manage on my desk. Oh, I've missed. This is classic passport stamps.
So Belle the Bookworm in chat says,
Ah,
"Oh no."
but her
She's-
fingerprints matched. Come on, so many rules.
She said, I completely agree with both of you. It's a very different type of game and maybe essentially be enjoyable for many, but may not be, I'm assuming. Maybe essentially be enjoyable for many, but definitely engaging. So, yeah.
I need these 5 credits. Come on. Cause no trouble. Oh, wait, office isn't even closed. Come
God,
on.
this day is really going.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jane.
Invalid gender. Oh, that's making some assumptions.
Oh, no. Well, this was in 1982, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I think I'm pretty sure people consistently have issues at borders with gender. So,
Yep.
I'm sure that's accurate for some people.
No correlation. Oh, wait, expiry, date of birth. All right, nah, this guy's good. I'm not too sure about these inspection controls. Rufus. Roof saw.
Roof saw.
Oh, everyone's left for the day. We've got a lot of guards here.
Yeah, I think that was after the attack happened. The rent has gone up. You're minus 10 now.
Where's that coming from? My savings are at 0. Gotta we need to start accepting some bribes, I reckon. My whole family's cold. We can't afford food today. Come on. Oh, penalties.
All right, I think you can pick it up this another day, James,
wanna
before you
tap out?
Tap out.
combust.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Answering
I think-
questions and inspecting passports at the same time. That's the real immigration officer experience. That's
Yeah.
too stressful. I'd be asking the people in the front counter, just calm down for a second. I've got to read 50 dates and make sure that your thing is coming from the correct country.
Yep. Okay, so I think that's us wrapping up. Papers, please. James, what did you think?
It feels very familiar to the stress that I felt 3 or 4 years ago when I played this game, but
Yep.
it's good. It does I mean, it ratchets up the difficulty very quickly, I think, but still, all of the mechanics feel very relatable. I like how the story kind of builds in very small like snippets, small visuals. All you need is a 10-second animation there of someone jumping the border, and then you get the news that things have changed and now all of these requirements coming in. So like the game world kind of feels whole, like the system makes sense. But yeah, I think it's I wouldn't want to see what Papers, Please end game content looks like, or
Yep.
a speed run. That would be scary.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
So Belle the Bookworm in chat said, "Don't combust, James. We want to watch more games. So you got to keep going." All right. Again, once again, credit to the developer Lucas Pope, and for everyone watching, you can get this game on iOS systems, PlayStation Vita, if anyone really still has one of those. I know someone in chat did say that the last time they played this game was on a PlayStation Vita. So if you still have that system, go for it.
Dig it up.
Yeah, dig it up. And obviously Microsoft Windows and Linux. So yeah, go for it. Play this game. And we're going to get the next game ready, which I think I will be playing.
Oh.
And we get the
Shuffle it
keyboard.
across.
And we will figure out how well I can multitask doing 3 things. Right.
Yeah, I'm sure multitasking didn't make Papers, Please any easier.
Not particularly.
There you go.
I'd be excited to try it on mobile though. I didn't realize it had made its way to iOS. Maybe the little desk paper pushing controls are a little bit more accessible.
Little bit of haptics on
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next game that we're gonna get up and ready now, it's Dot's Home, which amazingly enough, won Best Narrative and Game of the Year this year at G4C. So congratulations
And
to
G-
the
G4C is the Games for Change Festival.
Games for Change Festival. Yeah,
In
sorry.
case
In
anybody
case
wasn't
people don't know, it's the Games
not down with the lingo.
It's the Games for Change Festival. So huge congrats to the development team, which is Weathered Sweater, I believe, and the Rise Home Stories project team, who all made this game possible. So congrats, guys. Again, Dot's Home is a game that's made by people of color, for people of color. And it's going to tell the very real story of marginalized racism and the kind of housing equality and poverty involved in BIPOC, which is, for people, again, who do not know, it's Black, Indigenous people of color based in America. Again, very real, very active situation, very active issue that's still going on till today. It's an amazing game. So for anybody who wants to play this game, it was released late October 2021. And it is available on Steam, itch.io, Google Play, the Apple App Store. I would highly recommend, even definitely if you are BIPOC, BIPOC, or if you are a person of color and facing these kinds of issues, or even if you're not, just to get that sense of what it might potentially be like for people like this. So what do you guys think? Have you heard of this game? Do you know much about it?
Only heard about it through the Games for Change Awards. Just saw it come up, but haven't really looked into it beyond that point. So interested to learn more. I know a tiny bit about housing inequality in the US, and I don't know if it's structural or systemic racism or like the
Bit of both. Probably.
the various forms of racism that have led up to housing inequality in the US. So interested in learning more, and probably as a spoiler warning, we're going to play the first half, I'd say, of this game.
Short game, I think.
But hopefully you'll be intrigued enough to download it and try the other half, or play for the first half and then see how it all ends.
Yeah. And amazingly, we do have BIPOC in the chat, who is Belle the Bookworm. She is BIPOC. Nice. So thank you for watching. Again, just to say, where pretty much obviously we probably have not lived through a lot of these experiences or any of these experiences ourselves, but we're just here to give our thoughts, appreciate the game design and the game developers and the amazing hard work that's gone into this game. So with that, let's
multitask.
Let's multitask.
Yeah.
We'll see how well I can do this.
Oh, you're ready to go.
I think.
Yep. What? Oh, here we go. Yep. I have gotten control of the mouse. Okay. So I did start a bit beforehand, just for the chat to know. It's just so that we wouldn't have to go through all of the intro. But to sum up, the intro is basically we are playing as Dorothy Hawkins, and this is a story of her, spoilers, going through the timeline of her family's history and how they got to where they are, the kind of housing inequality and the racism that they felt, and the situations and what should I say, possibilities and things that led them to where they are right now. And she's going to live through all of those moments and see how her parents and her grandparents got to where they are right now.
Cool.
So I am going to potentially not read out all of the dialogue. But if anyone in chat wants me to read out the dialogue, I will read out the dialogue. That depends on chat.
Claps for dialogue. Ooh. Oh, she's playing a game too. Or he's playing a game too.
Oh yeah, he was playing because they couldn't actually say the game that it was based on, but I think it was Supreme Smash Brothers or something similar to that effect.
Supreme Smash Sisters?
No, it was brothers.
It was brothers?
Brothers.
Mold on the walls. Oof. This guy's gonna need to knock down some walls.
I really like the simple animations that they have when the character is talking.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of just a little, either slightly higher detail characters or the outline around the characters to just pop them out from the background and kind of see where your walkable area is.
I think
It's hard to achieve.
subtle animation as well.
Yeah,
Just
a little bit of
really,
breathing.
really subtle breathing, which makes them very obviously stand up.
Oh,
Someone's
I
knocking.
gotta go. Yep.
Knocking on the door.
Well, yep.
Where is
Okay.
your house guest
Yeah.
gone?
I haven't played a game like this where it's just like click to move in so long.
No? No point and click adventures recently?
No.
Man, the white
maybe I just
characters are really white.
Yep.
That is how white I am, yes.
An open door is an open invitation for new. No, and an open door is not that. Also, you're intruding.
Ooh.
Represent a
Michael
company
H.
called
Murphy
Hope
III.
Equity.
So they're investing heavily in the neighborhood, and they're looking to buy this property, I guess.
Invest in the neighborhood or knock down houses and move other people into the neighborhood.
We'll definitely see.
Yep. So they're basically saying cash for keys or something similar, like, how can you bring back a neighborhood that never went anywhere? Very true, very true. Bye. Yes, please
Oof.
leave. Nice.
Sent. Achievement unlocked.
Nice.
All right. Okay. I gotta go tell Grandma that some weird people were at the door.
Mac and cheese is ready. Oh.
Oh no! Don't believe
she's
what they say.
interested.
Bye, Mike. Yes. Oh no. We're really testing my multitasking here, I think. Mac and cheese always cheers people up. Okay. I'm going upstairs, I guess.
You're exploring.
I'm exploring. I know that that's the basement where he was playing his
Super mega
Supreme.
Supreme
Smash.
Supreme Smash. Is this my room? This is my room.
So do we have a goal at the moment? And did they ask us to do something?
I am not sure yet. I think this is the kind of thing where it's probably it is one of those games where you have to sit and read and go through the story and live through these experiences. That is a very harsh reality for a lot of these marginalized communities. And I think it's interesting in a way because like probably with other games they kind of just jump straight into the action, but for this, like, yeah, potentially maybe it's a bit, for a live stream, you're just like, oh, I've got to sit through and listen to a lot of dialogue, but the dialogue is what makes it important, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough spot that the game is trying to place you in the shoes of or empathize with, like having to choose between liquidating an asset to make ends meet or something that you want to leave to your kids or your grandkids in the case of this game.
Mm-hmm.
So is this what a headache feels like?
Isn't this what you see when you get a headache?
Is this a time traveling headache?
At least my headache is
This
gone.
bedroom looks pretty
Similar.
contemporary.
My door's locked from the outside.
Oh, no.
Oh no. One of my keys will open it. Oh.
Ooh, the magic key.
Why is this key glowing?
Nah, you gotta try every other key first. Come on,
I do?
definitely.
Alright.
No.
That's it. Alright. We're doing this. Nope.
Ah, must be the glowing one.
Must be the glowing one.
That's a time travel key.
Oh, okay. I feel like it's so like disco 90s themed almost. Like it's got that vibe to it.
It's got the circus mirrors.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Whoa. Live on the wild side, try all the keys. How long was I asleep for?
Oh, he's back.
Oh no.
Oh no. Must have missed you coming in. Who's this? Oh yeah, he was here for the open house. How do you like the... So he sold this
guy's
house?
so gonna be Murphy the Second or Murphy the First.
Why Murphy?
The guy that we met at the door was Murphy the Third.
Oh,
so his
really?
grandpa's probably gonna look identical and be Murphy the First.
Right. That's a good prediction.
Ooh, that's concerningly sexist. We have gone back in time, or maybe not.
Oh,
Maybe forward in time. Maybe it's the current day.
Maybe.
so, just so that I also look at chat and things. Okay, here we go. I'm looking for grandma. Vase is barely covering that crack in the wall.
This is
Do you think we're making the right decision, Carl? She just found out she can time travel, guys. Spoilers.
Ooh.
God, this would be concerning.
This is a Marty McFly situation. Oh.
Just decided to pop in. Oh, okay. So we caught on to the time travel quickly, which is like, okay, we can't freak them out. Where did they take grandma? Don't worry, Belle. They did not take grandma anywhere. We have just time traveled to the past.
She's got the same stove in the future that she has when they moved in.
Yep.
The famous mac and cheese.
Probably a good stove, I'd say. Lasted that long.
So one of the co-producers for this game, I think her name is Christina Rosales. said she was inspired to make this game, and probably why a lot of the narrative is laid out like it is. So she was inspired by another narrative style game called Night in the Woods. So a little like Papers, Please, where he was inspired by movies like Argo and the Bond films and things like that. So she said she wanted to have this feeling of curling up with a good book, and I think that's what having all of this dialogue laid out the way it is and having this kind of very calming almost art style to the game is. So what do you think about like adopting those experiences from other mediums that you've lived through or you've experienced and putting that into your own gameplay style? What do you think that's how do you think that correlates?
For sure.
Yeah. Mr. Creative over here.
I mean, I think it is. That is always where I start when designing a game or needing to start coming up with ideas, is like previous experience, and the more experiences that we have, the more we can draw on. And I think usually whenever we work on a project or start trying to work towards solving a problem, it's always trying to find something that resonates well. So what is the core message of what we're trying to communicate, or what transformation do we want players to go through? And then trying to find something that resonates with those players or resonates with the message. And that's usually just a jumping off point, and then go and do a bunch of different research. And when you find something that that's the perfect fit, you can mine that for inspiration, you can mine that for reference, but quite often, it's a fusion or an amalgamation between a lot of different forms of media. And I think it's always the sort of like immediate spark of inspiration that you go back to and say, like, this is where it all came from. But there's kind of this journey that you go along the way of finding other games, other games of change that people have made before, or other entertainment games that people have made before, and seeing how they have approached some of these problems. Anything chuck in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be about relating to the audience that you are hoping to play your game as well. Like, if you can build that sense of familiarity, maybe it is feeling like a good book, maybe it's pulling some of these references in here that your players are going to get and you're going to love, like they feel heard or listened to. You can kind of draw those connections and show that you're maybe approaching this story from the inside and not the outside. You've got the inside references, you've done a bit of your research, but also what would feel familiar or comforting, or in the case of this guy, discomforting, for the intended audience of this game. And I think that's where going and looking at what's been done before, and I think it's part of any artistic medium, and games fits into that category. Like, how is the title that I might be releasing like moving this discussion along? Like, what's come before, what's the discourse around it, how am I adding to that or changing that, or what perspective am I bringing to that? And I think it's important to know what has come before, so that you're maybe not repeating yourself or contradicting what other people have said, and you're able to build from a place where an audience will understand some of that other stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think the mechanics of this game and just interactive narrative games in general, I think are really popular for telling meaningful stories, and a lot of the time it's because they're, I guess, and potentially similar to Papers, Please, like the ease of access, or the ease of being able to experience this story. There aren't a whole lot of like complex mechanics or strategy that's getting in the way of the story. It's still putting you in that first person perspective of, you're going through the story, like you're going back in time, you're experiencing some of what it was like to be living in these communities, and some of the structural and systemic problems that you've been through. And that's still interactive, but it's fairly easy to control, or fairly accessible for people to go through.
Absolutely. Learning about some bank discrimination here, and some slimy car salesmanship going on.
Oh gosh.
Oh, what do you do?
Definitely buy.
Oh no.
Don't rent.
Yeah, he was saying that if they miss a payment at all, then they go back to square one and they'd lose the house if they were renting it.
That sounds predatory.
But
Yeah.
they don't necessarily have the money to buy it outright. Oh no, it was the option of renting another house or buying this house on like a loan repayment kind of thing. And then if they miss a payment there, then they'd have to give the house back. But they can't take a loan because the bank won't give them a loan because they're BIPOC. So it's just like, okay, I don't know.
So
I rent a house here. I could never afford a house in Australia, but that's like for other reasons as well. That's also just because the housing market here is just awful.
for sure.
You're about to unbirth yourself if you're not
Yeah.
going to buy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, your grandma's never going to move in. She's never going to make mac and cheese.
Chat's telling me to buy, so I will, okay, buy it.
I mean,
Well,
Bishop-
we remembered.
when is this set? The 1960s?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, I'm pretty sure buying any house in the 1960s in any country would have been a good investment.
Yep.
But potentially, yeah, can't afford it, which is another hurdle to overcome.
Now Chad is saying that my choice wasn't so great and it will be remembered. Chad, you were the one who told me to buy.
You've been misled.
I've been misled.
Well, you're still alive, so the time travel loop paradox is still
Yep.
intact.
Yeah.
You haven't quite, ruined the future just yet.
We've definitely made good friends with our grandma fairly quickly. The old Marty McFly effect. Like we're consulting them on major financial decisions.
Yeah, I'd take major financial advice from someone else who walked into the open home that I was a part of.
I mean, I think it is an interesting aspect of game development where there's that suspension of disbelief where we're a lot willing to, I guess, forgive or forget a lot more of these sort of inconsistencies in the narrative because it's already this make-believe world. We're already saying, like, this isn't the real world. And you can just more freely explore these ideas and jump into, you're playing a game. So, of course, you're going to be able to advise them on which one to go with. Do they get a loan or do they rent? I guess, yeah, just an interesting component of games.
Okay, so she said she should sleep again, but I kind of want to go down and see if anything changed. Oh, okay. Well, can't go
got
down.
to.
All right, I have to sleep. Sleep is required after time travel.
Is that a stack of bills? on
That
your
is a
bed?
very
Yeah,
big
she said
stack of
even
bills.
more
That
bills.
is large.
And that wasn't there before. Maybe that's what changed.
Yep.
We just got another stack of bills. It's locked again. I guess I'll use that glowing key.
Oh,
All right,
no.
here we go.
What are these other keys for?
I think that they're
gonna
just her
figure that
other
out.
keys. Yeah.
This is marking up progress through the story. Which keys do we know which doors go in?
So this is obviously a very deeply personal experience for a lot of people. What do you think? What advantages and potential disadvantages do you think that kind of having this kind of very deeply personal experience as an interactive gameplay style is like over probably just putting it in like a TV series or a movie or something similar to that?
I think that there are different strengths and weaknesses of the different formats of the different mediums. And I mean, I always say that we should be doing all of the things. Like we should be creating TV shows, movies, and games about like subjects that are important to us. I think that each of them will appeal to different people in different scenarios. Like I know that I like to play games, but there are definitely days where I'm kind of exhausted or just don't have the energy to play a game, so would prefer to watch something. Or maybe you're on a bus and you want to watch a video of some description. So having those different forms of media or different formats means that more people get the opportunity to experience these. And I think that when you have a strong connection with one of these experiences or like one of these TV shows, you're much more inclined to jump into the next one or seek out more that are the same. So yeah, I think that good for different scenarios essentially.
Yeah.
And having all of them is a huge plus.
Yeah, I think a lot of I was reading that there was quite a bit of praise for Dots Home, and a lot of players were mentioning like, oh wow, I've never heard a story like this before, or told about this subject before, or about me, or depicting these characters. I think games, and maybe more broadly the tech industry, have had a problem with diversity and representation, and I think having a broader range of stories to tell and to experience helps with breaking down those barriers. And it's not only BIPOC people that live these BIPOC stories, it's people that are maybe not coming from these backgrounds that are able to maybe build up a little bit of that sense of empathy, or even just understanding with where people are coming from, or what the like cultural significance of some of that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, was perusing the website of the development team for this, and if they hadn't won all of the awards for their game, certainly like one of the most diverse team awards, I think, and it goes to show what diversity in storytelling or in subject matter you get out of having a more diverse team behind the games that are being built.
So I think a couple of people have rejoined the chat. Just again, for everyone rejoining or anyone joining in right now, we're playing Dots Home, which is a game that was made by BIPOC people for BIPOC people, and it's about marginalized communities and poverty and racism and housing and inequality and just a lot of very, very important issues. And we're quite far ahead in the story, but the story is just happening.
Is this grandmother or mother that we're talking
This is mother and father. So they're living in this like I guess housing block kind of area, and I guess they want to move because this, I'm assuming, is her elder sister, Dorothea's elder sister, who was just born. And mother was saying how this isn't necessarily the best place to raise their child, and they're going to turn all of these into townhouses, and it's meant for the people that live here, but she's unsure that they mean them that live here and not just other people that live here.
Your multitasking is impressive.
Yeah.
That you read all of that while
we were
listening,
while we were
having a little chat.
Having a chat.
I gotta stay on
I'm
my
glad
game.
Meg's paying attention.
Waxing philosophical about game design and game design tools.
Hope 6.
Yep, but I think we might wrap up there because I don't know how much more my multitasking brain can handle. And I think that's a good place to probably pause. Obviously, this is, like I mentioned, a very, very story-driven game and narrative-driven game. This is one of those games that you have to sit through from beginning to end. So I highly recommend everybody watching to download this game. Like I mentioned, it is available on Android, PC, iOS, and itch.io and Steam, all the usual places, and it's free to download. So definitely please go check it out, experience these things for yourselves, and probably get into, if you can, a little bit of the mindset of what it could be like for BIPOC people living in these kinds of communities and what it's like for them. Just always a good thing to be informed about these kinds of issues.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned it was only an hour long, so definitely something that's definitely approachable, and like we've shown some of it, but I think it's a lot more meaningful when you are in the first person and going through that experience.
Yeah. And it's definitely one of those things where I was trying to pay attention on all three sides, but definitely wish that I probably will be after this, just sitting and playing the game by myself and actually probably paying attention to a lot of the narrative that was happening.
Yeah, I think, that's one of the great things about there being so many game developers out there and so many game development teams. Like, there are games that are only an hour long now, or 2 hours long. There's not this push that you've got to have replayable content, you've got to have 100 missions and 100 unlocks and all this kind of stuff. When I was growing up, if you were sitting down to play a game or choosing what to play, it was, okay, what am I going to spend my next 200 hours on? Like, this is a significant investment, but being able to play through something start to finish, still interactive in less than the length of a movie is pretty cool.
Definitely.
Very true. All right. So we're going to get the next game ready, which I think Nico is playing.
Cool.
Whoop. Don't get tangled in my own wires.
Willing and able.
And
game's
we're
made in Unity.
midway, I believe.
Just wait.
We're midway a bit through the stream now. And again, for everybody in chat and watching, I hope you are all enjoying the stream and the conversation and learning a lot more about how games can build empathy. Also, while we get this next game ready, I'd just like to also make a little announcement that next month we're having a very special collab stream with the World Wildlife Fund. Super exciting. You would have seen them in chat earlier. Like I said, we are besties. So that's also going to be a super informative stream. So I hope you all will note it down in your calendars. If not, just follow us on all of our socials and you'll be updated pretty much when we when we do that. So yeah. All right. Bestie stream. Yes, Bestie stream is going to happen next month. Get ready for it, guys. So the next game that we're playing, we've got it up right now, is Resilience. It's a sci-fi city builder, and if anybody knows Nico, he loves city builder
Of course,
games.
Nico gets to play this one.
So the base concept for the game involves you, the player, as a refugee camp manager, trying to get through day-to-day realities and of course struggles of running a refugee camp. The game was developed by 18 students at Driscoll University, which is based in the US as well, and it won the best student game at Games for Change Festival in 2020.
Was
Have
this
you guys
developed while they were studying?
Yep.
Wow. Oh, cool.
So the game is also available to play on Windows, Mac, and the Linux systems. Have you guys heard of this game or played it before?
I have not.
I played it in preparation for this because jumping into a city builder, there's usually a steep learning curve, and I'm glad I did because there's a lot going on.
Come on, you can figure it out.
I mean, that's what I
Skip the
thought,
tutorial.
but there's a lot. So just to quickly explain what's going on, I kind of walk around the base, and this is I think it's the admin center. Like, as people are dropped off in ships, they get processed here, and come out into the wider world. And then if I press tab, I open my little tablet where I can kind of choose where to build different structures.
That's cool.
And I'm just going to pause the game so that I can explain some of this. You can build shelter, water, food, hygiene, and medicine. And then you get some little kind of analysis tools where you can look at how people are feeling. There's a journal with some real world facts. So through just experimenting earlier, I unlocked some, I guess, real world information about refugee crises and refugee camps and international aid in the real world. So I think this talks about ration packs and the UN and the World Food Programme providing these ration packs and what goes into them, and some of the challenges of providing that aid. In this case, they're reliant on their donors or their supporters. Basically, they're relying on countries to actually send the food, to put it into packages to feed people. And I think, just really, I don't know, I like this method of inserting information or real-world learning information into a game where it's really under the surface. You don't really need to pay attention to it. But for people who are really engaged, for people who are interested, it's there for them to jump into. And it's also used as a reward, so you kind of incentivize people to do certain behaviors, and then you reward them with information, and it just kind of tricks people into thinking, wow, like this information, like I need more of it, I need to find it. So it's building that behavior for seeking out that information and that knowledge, which is pretty cool. And then there's a report. I'm going to get started.
You've already got one homeless person. That was quick. In your report.
I think there are 5. I'm going to get started on building what I can.
Yep. So while Nico figures out the basis of his refugee camp, just gonna acknowledge chat for a little bit. Who I think Gurikpal said he's currently working on 3 student game projects simultaneously.
Wow.
So good luck. Good luck with that. And he says kudos to the team for completing their project. And I as well will reiterate that this game did win Best Student Game. And I will also mention that the students worked with Sungrazer Studios, who have, I will probably put up a link to our socials if I can. They have a call to action page on their website, which urges all the players, people playing and people reading up about the game to be more informed about the refugee crisis and all of that. So what else do you think, James? Because obviously you can put in like, I think some of the other games that we've played have put in places where you can donate to charities and things like that. What else can game developers, aside from making a game that is very informative at its base level, to be more, how should I say, to like additional resources that a game developer can either build into their game or give as a resource for their players to be more impactful about issues like this?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the game and the issue that they're trying to tackle, and what behavior the game might be trying to motivate. Is it motivate someone to action or to pledge that they're going to change their own behavior around sustainability? Is it that they need to learn more and are maybe looking to get donations towards particular good causes and stuff like that? I think finding ways to do that with as little friction as possible is at least a goal of the serious game developer. Ideally included within the framework of the game itself. Obviously that can be difficult when we're talking about donations, not-for-profits and stuff like that, but anytime that it's refer out to a website, and you're going to get a percentage of people that maybe drop off, and hoping that you're trying to build as much of your game and funnel players into being in the right frame of mind, the right spot to decide that they're gonna make a difference, they're gonna change, they're gonna pledge to do something different. I think, and making it fit within the framework of the game as much as possible. If the content of the game is about refugees and refugee crises, and you're linking that out to real world materials, you can do some fun things like your in-game advertisements and stuff are pulling from real world news headlines or feeding that kind of information in there. Is a lot more powerful than anything that's maybe feeling kind of forced or around the edges, or hey, we've got a news ticker of these things to support. I'm sure, like, in terms of impact, if we're measuring the success by how many dollars are donated, I'm sure if your AAA, Assassin's Creed something or Call of Duty something put like a $2 store item in their microtransaction store, they'd do millions of dollars worth of donations in a day. So yeah. I think there's a lot of different tools available for the game development team, and I think bringing it as close to the core play experience as possible, if the goal is behavior change, is how you're hopefully going to get the most players to change their mind or change what they're doing.
I think one thing I've just noticed is that I thought it was weird that I was running around in a first-person perspective and then like opening up the tablet to do a city builder game. But I think it's to build empathy with people. So it's that you're not just some all-seeing eye that's managing this refugee camp. You kind of walk around and you speak to people. And like quality of the water has significantly gone down. Like one of the main ways that you gather information about what you should do next is by speaking to people, which I think is just a good distinction between other city building games in this game.
Yeah, where you may be relying on, I'll get my advisor to give me a report, or I'll just view some stats or info about this city that I've built or something like that. Like I'm just looking at the metrics or whatever to change what my strategy is.
Yeah.
I think someone in chat riffed off of something you said earlier, James, about microtransactions in AAA games, who said Valorant's Pride Month bundle is going towards LGBT support groups, and apparently they raised a lot of money for it.
Yeah, and I bet they have, and I think it's great that games are utilizing their reach and channeling, some potential profits towards good causes. I'm sure there's a lot of money at the top, a lot of room at the top.
Yep.
Some successful games can be very, very successful, and figuring out where to channel that towards something that the game development team or the kind of the game theme might be passionate in supporting is super cool.
I just realized if I go and talk to everybody, then I get insights about them.
Ooh.
So, managing alone. Presently, there's some trouble with my community. We have at least one sick due to low levels of water and food. Ooh.
Yeah. Your refugee camp is becoming a bustling metropolis.
Yeah, I never figured out how to get food and water. I think I just have to.
They're not going to be important, surely.
I've built a kitchen. Maybe I should go check out the kitchen. But people need to donate food, and I'm just waiting for people to donate. That's what I remember from last time. I might just repair that. Maybe let's put down some more tents. All right,
The
so
developers of this game probably cringing at you right now.
probably.
So this game is also quite interesting because it is talking about something that's very real, but it's doing it in a fictional setting. And the executive producer at Sungrazer Studios, her name is Lily Laubin, said that when the students were making this game, even though they did visit refugee camps and things like that to do a lot of first-hand research, they felt like a lot of these stories weren't theirs to tell. And the reason for using the science fiction theme was to get a more allegorically experience of the refugee camp and the refugee crisis. So how do you think, how effective is it to portray topics like this in this kind of setting, in this kind of fictional setting, but still trying to have it have the impact that it needs to have?
Yeah, I think it can be a good choice for a few reasons. Like you definitely don't want to be in that uncanny valley of not being able to portray a realistic story accurately enough to do it justice. I think giving yourself a fantasy world can, allow players to kind of let some guards down, or maybe not be bringing a lot of bias or baggage from reality to say, oh, that would never happen. Like, oh, they would never donate food like this, or you'd never set up a camp in this way, kind of thing. You have a bit of control for it to not be perfect. And I think that a lot of the, what you might want players to take away from the experience isn't about it being perfectly matching or mirrored to reality. Again, it is that kind of building of empathy, or at least understanding at a high level maybe the challenges that either refugees in these camps might face, or even the people that are trying to staff and run and coordinate these camps face. I think it allows you to also maybe give a different perspective or a fresh perspective, coming at it from a different angle, in terms of, maybe people are sick of hearing updates about the refugee crisis in this, or maybe people have a particular bias or personal experience that they're attaching to people that come from a particular background. Being able to remove all of that and just get to hopefully the core of the issue without maybe triggering people's past experiences that are maybe going to prevent them from learning or prevent them from seeing past it, I think can be quite effective.
I think Gurikpal in chat also says adding a layer of fiction is very important because any topic has a lot more information attached to it. So fiction helps you focus on the important bits. And he also said that if it were humans instead of aliens, the models of the humans would have been a huge issue to overcome, which is, I think, something you also mentioned.
Yeah, well, I think, work with the budget and the team and the people that you have available. And certainly, I think it can be easier to achieve some alien refugees that players are able to build empathy with than some low poly models of people that don't have the right facial expressions to achieve essentially the same thing.
So, us as a game studio, as I mentioned, we've worked with, we've made transformational games and we've helped with like social impact games and things like that with the Australian government and several universities and some international not for profits. So, we are at an interesting intersection of game development in that sense because we also don't just make games for entertainment, we make them for a purpose. So, what other global issues do you think our games specifically explore? Like this is with like chaos theory.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a real mixed bag with the projects that we've worked on, and it can vary from year to year. I think that the whole team is pretty passionate about sustainability and kind of science or STEM education, generally speaking. And if there's any projects that tick those boxes, then they're ones that we usually jump on. Recently, it's been a lot of kind of education and training, even in the kind of like medical or pharmaceutical spheres, and how games can help with better adherence or with being more effective in training or onboarding and stuff like that as well. Bringing games into the classroom so that kids are able to maybe learn or retain or stay focused better. I think it's a always interesting set of problems to solve, always different set of problems to solve, I think, month to month. But certainly if we got to pick the clients that come in the door, something related to, Nico would probably say go into space, Kerbal Space Program would be great. But I think a lot of kind of sustainability and behavior change around sustainability and energy conservation and reducing wastefulness are things that we keep pretty close to our heart.
Yeah. And if I can pull Nico away from his city building.
He's in city planning mode. Look at that grid, it's perfect.
I mean, I'm doing way better than I did earlier. Like when I learnt all the controls, everything fell apart. But I think I'm doing all right. I realized that you need like
you need food.
You need like you need a water pump and a hygiene station for every like 3 houses, pretty much. So you just need lots of them, and like a medical center for every like 6 or 7 houses, basically. Anyway, yes, you had a question. What?
Nico's cracked it.
Yeah,
he's back here. He's back to reality.
Yeah.
He's channeling his 4,000 hours of Civ.
yeah.
So I would say like because the games we've played before this and this game and the game we're going to play after this have a lot of diverse topics maybe that we don't have that kind of personal experience with. How do you think our team would go about making a game that we don't necessarily have that kind of experience with? Or would you consider making a game that we don't have that experience with at all?
Yep. Yeah, I think it's important to make sure that those voices are in the room and are involved in making important decisions. And that can look anything like hiring new people to make sure that there's that kind of level of representation. Maybe for our team, and more commonly, it's kind of consulting with kind of subject matter experts or affected audiences, or making sure that we've got players and focus groups that we're talking to very early in the kind of conceptual phases to say, like, if we approach it in this way, is this something that you think might be good? Or give us your ideas for what you think might be a good solution to this. So I think having the voices in the room is important. And it's not something, that we would shy away from, hopefully, too much because of a lack of experience. I think it's important to be able to empathize and put yourself in someone else's shoes and be able to build experiences for people that aren't yourself, and for problems that you haven't necessarily faced, but definitely making sure that you're doing that in a way that is effective. And I think that just for us, like, constant or as much as possible feedback from players, like iterations, let's get them involved in play testing and really get their input on what's going to be a good solution, because we've had plenty of projects where the players have been the ones that have come up with all the good ideas.
Yep.
You just got to be there to listen and be like, "Oh, that would be good. I think I know a way that we could do that in the game." So yeah, making sure that they have a seat at the table.
I'd say, yeah, quite often or always there are people that are more experienced than we are, and they're subject matter experts, and usually we're working with them on projects. And I think what we bring to the table is we're game design and game development experts, and we figure out how to facilitate the process of what ideas should we be focusing on, what's the core of the experience, what are the key pieces of information. And once we have that sort of high level information about what the subject is or the problem that we're looking to solve, we can then start to work together and come to them with some ideas around, well, this game format might help deliver this type of experience, or the content that you want to deliver would fit really well into a narrative game or a city building game. And then, once everybody's on the same page, it's really the players and or the end users that tell you if it's good or what should change, or it's not good and you should fix it. All those sorts of fun conversations.
True. And just to acknowledge that, we've got another fan in the chat, Gurikpal, who said that he loves our work. So another fan, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And someone mentioned, I think Belle the Bookworm mentioned that she would have loved, I'm not saying that I know your pronouns, that they would have loved to seen your first run with this game, because this one looks too smooth.
I'm surprised with how well this is running. There's a death counter up in the top right, so there's your sort of
0 of 0.
Yeah, zero.
Nico.
No, 0 of 8, or basically if 8 people die, then you lose the game. And this is the graveyard, and it did not go well. But I'm a lot more prepared and understanding what's going on with these people. I just think the really simple addition of, like, when I first opened this up, I wanted to know information about, like, what do I need to be building more of or less of? Like, where are the overlays? Like open up an overlay. And you can see that anybody that I haven't talked to is all question mark. And I was like, this game's useless. It's not telling me the information I need. But in reality, it was, I just need to go and talk to them and ask them questions about like how they're feeling. And it's, shelter isn't like good for me right now. And it's, I need to build more shelter, or there are people that are stuck outside. Like, I need to upgrade the admin center so that you can process more people.
Yeah.
Just little kind of game design tricks where you're building those behaviors into people in the simulated environment. The tricky part is, how do you translate that over to the real world? But I think it's essentially just making sure that there's a strong parallel between the real world content or behavior that you're looking to have the player exhibit, and what they do in the game. And once they practice that, once they know that behavior, you just make a link between the two, and point out any areas where the real world is just like the thing that you've played, and then that connects the two and makes learning the real world activity a lot easier.
The light bulb clicks.
Yeah. All right.
So, Gurikpal again in chat has a question. He said he would love to get the team's opinion on this. Tackling serious issues, example, mental health awareness, as a sub-focus, even though the gameplay isn't necessarily focused on that. So he says, as an example, a general role-playing game having a side quest, exploring a blind NPC's troubles through life. So what's your opinion on that?
I think... yeah, I'd say, if it's in that example of like a side quest, and it's not the focus of the game, it's probably more about diversity and inclusion than necessarily like tackling sensitive topics. I think it's just trying to make your game world realistic potentially. And, if you're in whatever RPG and every quest is for, I don't know, able-bodied people or people that aren't thinking about this, it's not really an accurate reflection on maybe the society at the time or the real world. And there are some more interesting problems and maybe side quests and challenges that come from being able to tackle things, or a more diverse range of quests that come from people that are neurodivergent or have different backgrounds and are maybe going to be approaching these problems in different ways. So I think it's, just, it makes your game world probably more interesting and maybe more relatable. You know, maybe there is that 10%, 20% of your players or something that maybe have a history of mental illness, and they see that and they're like, oh wow, this game speaks to me. Like, I have found something in this that I have a strong connection to, or I feel that the developer understands me. And I think that helps to maintain interest in the game. And, you know, maybe that's towards something completely separate. Maybe it's an entertainment game that just features this on the side. But I think that it helps with that representation aspect. You know, more people feel themselves, you know, visualized, or can see, you know, where they might fit into this game world in a way that feels real.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think it's good and beneficial on a lot of different levels. And I think it's a really good argument for why we should have diverse game development teams, because it does make the world more interesting and real. And like the amount of kind of boring fetch quests where it's like kill 20 rats and like pick 20 like leaves off trees, like it can just be a simple like narrative layer on top of those at the very like basic level, but it just adds like I guess a depth to the world that makes it just feel, I don't know, more interesting, more engaging. And I think it introduces us to certain ideas. Certain people can relate to it. I think games that are entirely focused on those social issues are great, and like we should have both essentially. Like all of the above. Build all of the things.
Build all the good games.
Is my mantra in life.
So he says he's asked the question because in his game development experience, he's struggled with wanting to add something but having a fear of it feeling out of place.
Yeah.
So.
And that's so hard. And I guess if it's something that you've got personal experience of, and it's something that you feel like you can talk about with confidence, or you know somebody that can talk about it with confidence, I think you just need to put in the work to make sure that it does fit. I think is the short answer to that. It's probably not going to be easy, and you've got to put it in there. You've got to work with like players, figure out if it works or doesn't work. You'll get mixed results. Like some people hate it, some people will love it. I don't know. It's a bit of a creative decision at the end of the day, and if it's meaningful to you or somebody that you care about, then it could be worth the time and effort investment in actually figuring out how to make it work.
Yeah, and I think this is where like kind of pick your battles, and a game doesn't have to be everything to everyone is important. One exercise that a lot of game teams or design teams run through is kind of defining the pillars for your game. Like, what are the most important things? How would you describe the kind of player experience? What are the most important things we have to get right? And they can take a lot of time to define and really make sure that the team feels it and understands it. But then having this clear picture of, you know, the pillars could be broad adverbs or things like exploration or like combat or like the strategy is always fair kind of things. And you can then ask yourself when you're making decisions about, do I add this, do I not? Is it supporting one of my pillars? Or is it superfluous? And if you're on a small team, like, you can't do everything, like we were talking about before. If you've got to consult with subject matter experts to make sure that content that you don't have personal experience in is represented correctly. If you're, you know, let's add mental health issues, let's add, you know, race issues, let's add gender issues into this, and I've got to get consultants for all of this because I don't have personal experience with all of this, you know, you're maybe stretching your focus potentially too thin unless your game is specifically about all of these things. And I think having a more targeted, more focused, and hopefully more effective message is going to be a much better game or a much better experience than a kind of like scattergun and maybe all shades lead to brown kind of thing.
Yep.
Definitely 100%. Pick your battles, like, and 100% agree with that. Good point, James. Well said.
So I think with that also, Nico, I think you need to stop city
No,
building.
no.
You got
I need to go around and talk to the community. Just one second. Yeah, we can end this. So, I mean, would you like a summary report of
Yes.
how we've been going?
Yep.
All right, we've been going great, team. I've been spending a
View
little
the
bit too much
report.
time.
How many dead?
No dead. And there's this diplomacy menu where anyway, exit that. Report. We
No homeless.
have 115 people in the camp. No homeless, no dead, which big plus. Queue times low. And I mean it has required my entire focus, but the approach that I have taken is build way too many facilities for everybody and
Yep.
build all of the things.
build all of the things is a good approach.
But yeah, I did fail miserably the first time, and I have had certain realizations around you should consult with people, you should speak to the people that you're trying to help.
You should build way too many facilities for the people that you need to support.
Yeah. Well, I guess I was bringing my existing knowledge and context to this game when I first played it, where I thought that people would be able to like walk from one side of the map to the other, and I was like trying to build little districts and say like, all right, well, like we need one medical tent for like 100 people. But those ratios weren't right, and I hadn't spoken to the people, so I was making these assumptions, and they were wrong, and I really needed to not do that.
Yep.
Which is what I did this time, and it's worked out all right.
So I
Listen
think
to the people you're trying to help.
I'm surprised, and thank you too for talking and keeping everybody entertained.
yeah, Belle, the bookworm in chat, also says he sounds like he's fascinated by his own performance because last time went so bad.
I'm genuinely surprised. I thought it was. I thought I was going to fail miserably, which is why I was so intent at the start. I was like, all right, I need to plan this out. Like, I can't have too many deaths on my hands here on live stream.
I think chat knows us too well because Gurikpal just said, I did good, this feels wrong, Nico probably.
Certainly.
All right, so again, huge congrats to Sungrazer Studios and the students at Drexel University for creating this game. It plays really well. It's very, very,
This is going to be the most complete student game I have seen in a long time.
It's funny that they've still got the Unity like default character
Skybar.
character controller in there, where like I don't know, it feels really like floaty, and then they've left jump in there, but you can jump like this high, so it's like most people
Gravity on that planet's really extreme.
Yeah, most people wouldn't realize that. But I mean, that's not what the game's about, right? Like the game's about the pillars that they picked were obviously not like the most refined gameplay, not like a super engaging narrative. It was we want to create an experience that makes you empathize with people, go and speak to people, and meet their needs, and it's all about the people and the logistics of constructing and maintaining and supervising a refugee camp. Mm-hmm. Do you want to play this one?
Sure.
Again, it's available on Windows, Mac, and Linux systems. Everyone, please go play Resilience. And with that, we are going to get into our final game for the night, which is Change. It is a homeless survival experience. And for people watching, I just want to give a bit of... I think it's a bit of a trigger warning, just a warning in general. This game is not like the other games that we've played. It's very, very much set in its dark, kind of depressing theme. And it obviously does it for a reason, and you guys will see that reason and why it's very necessary for this game's mechanics for it to be this real and very, very, down like that. So the game developers, Delve Interactive, it took them 5 years to 5 years of research and commitment and hard work, and a lot of them, like I said, it is a homeless survival experience. A lot of them actually did experience homelessness, and that's what inspired them to work so hard to make this game as real as it is, which is also why I will again say, for anyone who may be a bit more susceptible to feeling a lot of these emotions, just be warned that it does get very, very bleak. So the game, if you guys do want to try it out for yourselves, it's available on Steam, itch.io, and GOG. Have you guys heard of this game or played it before?
I have not.
You mentioned it to me and described some of the reviews. I think the Steam reviews, which were pretty impactful. So I know the theme and I know what people think about it.
Yep.
Um,
So,
Ooh, escape to a new life to unlock mental illness.
oh boy.
Ooh, addict. Survive many addiction maladies to unlock. Nice. Survive for 12 days to unlock veteran.
So
Default experience, we're just...
we start with $5.
poverty.
We're in poverty.
Ooh. We get...
I think that's the...
okay. Visage. Alright, this is just my little character customizing.
I mean,
the streets.
That's like right off the bat a pretty powerful opening screen
Yep.
of like how did you get into homelessness?
Yep.
Or like already covering the what I presume are the main causes of homelessness.
And even in this opening slide, like, I think a lot of attitudes towards homelessness can be like, oh, it's their fault, or why are they lazy, why are they not working, kind of thing. Like, for a lot of people, homelessness is not something that they chose, or, you know, in the case of this story here, like spending all of the money that they saved because their parents were in a car accident, like that's not something that you would wish on anyone.
Yeah.
Find food and shelter, get a job, rent a home. It's the rules of life.
Sounds so easy. I'm guessing that it's going to be incredibly difficult.
Roguelike experience about escaping to a new life. Each play will be different. Oh, okay. Randomized cities. Let's go.
So I found it quite interesting that the game is titled A Homeless Experience. So that word experience. How do you think you have to, why do you think that that distinction has to be made between having a game that's just gameplay for gameplay and having something that you know is going to hit you so hard that you have to title it experience?
I think that experience almost feels a bit more like an umbrella term of like gameplay implies that it's a game that you're playing. Experience is not necessarily tethered to the same connotations of it's fun or like it's a plaything. It's just a broader term that could be used, similar to what we were talking about, I think, with Papers, Please, and it's not fun. It's an engaging experience. So I think just having that distinction of it's a simulation or it's an experience where it's again setting people's expectations. It's like, why do we have a dark, depressing theme and mood? It's so that people don't feel this sort of jarring experience when you deal with some of the themes and situations that we're going to deal with in this game.
Right off the bat, we've gotten yelled at by the police twice.
Are you? What are you up to?
A bank. No thanks. Shops. Ooh. What do we got? £5. Crisps. Pest repellent. Let's get some crisps. Just one packet. And the stress of having $5 in your pocket.
And needing to choose what to spend it on.
Fingerless gloves.
Oh
no
god, big
thanks.
spender.
Increases steal success rate. So quiet.
God. I've been that person, for sure.
Saying you've only got card, you
well,
mean?
because I've only got a card, but it feels very very different being on the other side of it.
Yeah. Right, so what have I got? Hunger, happiness, hygiene. People will be less kind if it gets low. That's realistic, probably.
Yeah.
Right, getting all of this scrap on the side of the road, which I think I can not carry more than 25, but I can exchange for cash at a recycling depot. What we got? Oh man, apples, so expensive. Restores hygiene.
That might be good to have.
Yeah, a little bit of a save. Still, wet wipes, not the ideal hygiene cure here. Payphone, no numbers. Oh boy, please
no.
back. Uh-oh.
Oh,
If you get caught, you'll be moved on. You're cold and wet. Happiness
Oh,
is
no.
decreasing. Oh man.
is there somewhere that you can shelter? Laundry?
I think there may be like public toilets that you could take shelter in that are somewhere.
Oh, I'll run away from the cops. What's this?
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's a drinking fountain.
No, I think your hygiene's at 100 now.
Yeah. Still not going to help me get any change. Ooh. Oh, thank you.
Oh,
We got one nice person on the street. One Samaritan.
oh, cops.
New perk begging. Happiness gains from successful begging. Slightly increases success rate. Let's go with that one.
So we were talking about how the community was also rallied around this game.
We need that.
Oh,
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Fell ill.
Don't worry, it was good.
we're sick.
It was worth it.
Yeah, so how the community rallied around this game, and I have got some of the Steam comments, which I think are super interesting to read through, just because of, like I said, how real this game is, and probably for a lot of people, how stark real it is.
I think you mentioned that the developers almost fell into homelessness or something.
Yep.
And then that's how they, that's why they wanted to make this game. And then it took them like 5 years or something.
5 years of research and everything. They wanted to make sure that every single aspect of this game was as close, like hit as close to home for a lot of people as possible. And I think that's what also makes it quite hard to
Today's
play
special.
through.
Messy meal. Oh boy, that destroyed my hygiene, but I'm full. And
So-
that's pretty much the rest of my money.
Oh no.
I've got 15 minutes to find shelter. Oh boy.
So someone said that being a former foster youth and obviously being through periods of homelessness, the game has helped them work through their trauma and gave them the feeling that they were maybe helping somebody else in the same situation as they also face. So in that way, it was like super personal for them.
Mm. Oof. Alright, we're back up. Dawn.
Where,
Happiness has not taken too much of a hit.
where did you
We're
where did you sleep?
on the streets.
Oh. This soundtrack is
crisps.
also, it hits home.
Got the strings going.
Yeah.
Bus service. That's cool. Need to find this recycling depot.
Oh. Oh, give him $1. Give him your last dollar, James.
No.
James,
Oh my
Come
god, my
on.
hunger's going
Come
down
on.
so fast.
this game's about empathy. Give
Gotta wash.
Oh boy.
We're back at 100. New perk. Street. More choices. Slightly increased happiness gains. Charity events happen more often in shelters. I haven't found a shelter yet.
Give him your $1, James.
So I think another person had left another review, said the game impacted them so much that they now regularly, probably every month, donate money to a shelter charity or something similar. And I also know that Delve Interactive, the developers of this game, said have like 20% of the profits from this game are actually donated to charities also focused on homelessness issues. So I think I mentioned even with the with resilience, they have like call to actions and things on their pages that lead out to resources and things like that that tell people, okay, these are ways you can help and these are ways you can learn about these kinds of very important issues. Do you think initiative like that is what encourages people to play games like this, which is otherwise so bleak? Like, of course, like with this game, we do know that there are a lot of other people that played this game because it revolved around things like learned experiences that they've also had. But aside from that, people who may not have those learned experiences or personal experiences. Is it initiative that helps somebody play a game like this, or do you think it's more than that?
I think, yeah, interesting, I guess, question in terms of, because we've been in a similar position of, we worked on a game called Bleached As and donated 15% of our revenue, I think, from that towards planting trees to capture carbon out of the atmosphere. And it wasn't, like, at least our justification behind that wasn't to get like more downloads. Like, it's certainly like a component of the reason it's a positive game, and like one of the reasons why we want people to play it is you can have a real world impact. I think it's part of it is we're making a game about the subject matter, and we want to do something that helps like on a more of a material level. So yeah, what can we do in the real world to help people or give back in some way? And I think what's the right amount to give is also a really interesting question, because I think the power of games is to change people's behavior, to start conversations, to get people inspired about a particular subject. And I think you need it to make as much money back as possible, because that allows you to make the next game. And most games, the majority of games don't make the money back, or they lose money. So trying to keep that money so that we can keep doing that, so you can keep making games and create games that inspire other people to give to a charity every single month. So I think it's a component to it, and personally I think we did it because it felt like the right thing to do, and we wanted to have that sort of material impact where we could look at it and say, like, through playing this game we did X, Y, and Z personally, and kind of leading from the front of, this is a charity that you should be giving to too.
I think James just got moved to a new...
Oh no.
And I'm still hungry. Apparently
are you
just
starving?
eating a few bags of chips is not enough. Yeah, I have been starving
we'll go to the shops. Oh, there's a copper. Watch out.
Is traffic cop?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh yeah.
I told you. I warned you.
Look, Nico, that's...
Robert.
Running my luck.
Juice.
One happiness. This is a joke. Ooh, do I waste an hour washing? Alright. We need to find shelter in the next 3 in-game hours.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nice.
I found a recycling depot. So we've got £5. We've got more money than what we started with.
Yeah.
Today's special, £5.
Oh my god.
Gourmet. Oh, we're full of hunger. All right, just time to find somewhere to sleep. This has been a good day.
Yeah. Well, why has it been a good day, James?
Look at this. All bars close to full.
Yeah, but
All
what have you
happinesses.
done? What have you accomplished today?
I've eaten a meal. Oh boy, come on, where's shelter? Where's shelter? Man, this randomly generated town.
Not a lot of places for homeless people to sleep.
Nope.
It's 9 p.m.
We're going on the streets again. It's gonna get cold.
So I think one of the biggest game mechanics for this is that it does feel quite frustrating to play. Like, I think James would probably be able to answer this better because he's been going through it. It's like, even if you have those small wins, like you were saying, like, oh, I've got like more money that I started with, then you immediately had to spend it all to survive that night. So it is genuinely frustrating, those highs and lows.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, it feels like it's kind of a game where it makes people want to quit, but obviously that's not the intention. What is that putting that kind of mechanic into a game that makes it so frustrating that you want to quit, but at the same time, you know you have to do these lived experiences?
Yeah, I mean, I think it maybe harks back to something we were talking about a little bit earlier in the stream of just maybe moment-to-moment gameplay isn't meant to be fun, and I think that you want to build that sense of frustration to make it feel real, and maybe to not trivialize the experience that you're conveying through gameplay.
Copper, watch
Get
out.
him, rob him.
Watch out.
Sorry, I can pick up recycling around him.
Sorry to interrupt. Wanted you to not get caught.
Okay. Man, the hunger goes down so quickly. Starve myself between 7 and 10 in the morning.
So you were saying gameplay doesn't necessarily need to be fun and frustrating?
Yeah, well, I think it is a useful, like, games are probably one of the few experiences. Well, I mean, I think there are, maybe books that you can read or movies that you can watch that are going to make you feel maybe deeply uncomfortable as well. But it's the frustration is part of the experience. It's what the developer wants you to feel, and you're moving from tiny win to tiny win, but trying to beat back the inevitable, where it's like even running around town all day and scrounging as best I can for all these scraps essentially isn't enough to stave off my progress here. I'm always fighting for food, and I'm sure that's the kind of thought pattern that the development team are maybe trying to emulate in their players through making the mechanics frustrating. Oh, rude.
So I think the one of the developers for this game said that it would have probably been easier to make any other game, like probably an entertainment game or just something like point and click idle game type of thing. But it meant something more to put in the effort and make a game like this. What do you think about that statement?
I definitely think making a game about a serious subject matter, you've really got to immerse yourself in it and just speak to people, understand the subject matter that you're creating a game. And like, it would be so depressing, like creating all of the like perks around speaking to homeless people, be like, all right, well, like, what do you need to get by? It's being a heavy sleeper, or like, yeah, like that allows you to like get through, or strong stomach, being able to eat things out of bins, like it would just be a real roller coaster of a time speaking to everybody. I can definitely empathize with needing to kind of go down to that dark path in order to make this game. And
Yeah,
I
I think
don't think it'd be easy.
No, and I think one of games are incredibly hard to make and incredibly hard to make well, and one of the I guess experiences that makes that feel more maybe bearable is the fact that you do get to play it and have fun. Maybe as a team, we get to do play tests here at Chaos Theory when we have something that's ready for feedback, and the experience of getting around to kind of like play something together is fun and part of the I guess enjoyment of the experience of making games. If the playing the game itself was stressful and like having to play test is also like confronting, or you're always like mildly stressed or anxious by just going through kind of the content or making sure that it works, I think that just does add that additional layer of not only are you doing an undertaking that's really hard to do and really hard to do well, but like all of the work, I guess it maybe feels similar to other confronting, frontline work, maybe like social work, where you're always confronted with things that are really going to tax your, emotional bandwidth, essentially.
Yeah. They also worked on it for 5 years, so I think that would just be a lot.
Yep.
But I think going back to the positive side of this, of it has had this huge impact on people's lives because it was a lot of work to do, because there's a lot of work that's gone into this, because it's so grounded in speaking to people, hearing their stories. It feels real because it's a game, it's interactive, and you can set up that little bit of preamble that like sets the scene of you going into this story, and like you're somebody that's down on their luck. And you personally feeling that rejection of like, stop being so pushy, or like like I don't have any change, or get away from me sort of stuff. It's has this like meaningful impact on people's lives, and I don't know, good on them is all I think, for putting in that effort. And yeah, it's great that there was a team, or is it a team or an individual? I feel like it's a team, right?
It's a team.
Yeah. A team that felt so passionately about this subject matter and wanted to share that with other people.
Very true. I think with that, James, if you're good, we can wrap up for
I'm
the
not
night.
good. Well, actually, up until then, I was doing all right. Yeah, we can wrap up after I pick my perk. run away from the police.
So again, once again, credit to the developers, Delve Interactive, and this game is available on Steam, itch.io, and GOG. Please go experience the game for yourselves as it's meant to be. It's James seems to be doing strangely well.
I don't know if it's strangely well. He started out very much in a similar position to where he was when he started the game.
Yeah, just a little bit less happy and a lot less clean.
Yeah.
Until we take a wash in the public bathrooms. Day 4.
Yeah.
Oof. So we got to get to day 12 to unlock the next character. That is a challenging game.
And there are
153 perks. Jeez. You'd be a super-powered homeless person by the time you've got 153 of these perks.
Also, so you'd think, wouldn't it?
I'm sure it just gets even more challenging.
Yeah. All right then. That is our last game for the night. Quit.
In the middle.
Nice. Menus.
Sweet.
That's UX.
Perfect.
That's UX.
So what did you think of all the games that we have played today? What is your overall comment for the night?
Heavy.
Heavy?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good variety, so thanks for doing all the research and picking them. I think a lot of games or types of games that I wouldn't normally play myself. Probably stuck in a little bit of a rut of I like my kind of action RPGs and I have a very familiar flavor with those. But I think, I mean, plenty of diversity in how these different I guess themes or topics are approached from like mechanics and game design point of view, and definitely I think something that I can check out a bit more of.
Yeah, definitely. I think they were all very focused, is how I describe them. And I think that was definitely a strength of all of the projects, where they knew what they were trying to do and they picked the right tools for the job in terms of game design, game mechanics, narrative. Like everything felt like it supported that core message and worked together really well. And yeah, I mean, just I think the reason I said like heavy is like it made me feel things for other people, which I think is empathy is what these games are all about, and is why we selected this.
That's the theme of the night. We have succeeded.
So yeah, nice.
Nice. So again, we're grateful to everyone who's tuned in. Thank you to everyone in the chat for communicating with us, and hopefully this time I did a better job about communicating back. And once again, a very special thank you and congratulations to the accoladed now game developers. We've got Lucas Pope, who did Papers, Please, Weathered Sweater for Dot's Home, Sungrazer Studios, and the students at Drexel University who did Resilience, and finally Delve Interactive who did Change. Thank you for all the hard work you did creating these games, researching these stories, and then putting it into such an amazing gameplay style that clearly has had the effect that it's intended to.
Indeed.
We hope everyone who is watching will also download and experience these games for themselves and, feel a little bit of that empathy that's meant to happen. And before we go, again, I'd like to announce that our next Twitch live stream is a collab with the World Wildlife Fund. So look forward to that. That'll probably, again, be here in our Chippendale office. So they'll be coming to visit, besties. So their Australian live stream team is amazing. They've probably led the charge for companies doing live streams like this and fundraising for the environment and everything like that. And that is actually what our theme will probably be around. So look forward to that.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, a little bit spoilers. I mean, you never know. I might be lying. Who knows?
Yeah.
And if you haven't already, please follow us on Twitch and Instagram and Twitter and all the good stuff. Thank you, James and Nico, for joining me tonight. And
thank you to our host. And thank you to all of you.
Thank you for everyone watching.
For joining us.
All right. Good night, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.